Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on the IT trends that are, quietly reshaping pretty much everything, from the invisible engines that power businesses today to the smart systems that are going to define our tomorrow.
I mean, really think about that for a second. Technology is always changing, right? But some trends have become these incredibly powerful, almost invisible forces in our lives. So in this explainer, we're going to take a little journey through three key areas. First up, the real workhorses of modern business. Then, we'll get into the intelligent tech that's changing how we interact with the world. And finally, we'll look at the incredible infrastructure that makes it all possible.
So let's start with what's happening right now, the tech that's actually powering business today. We're going to look at three foundational trends that are basically non-negotiable for any modern company: cloud computing, big data, and automation.
Okay, first up, cloud computing. The easiest way to think about the cloud is like a digital utility. So instead of every single company having to build its own power plant, we all just plug into a shared grid, right? Well, the cloud is exactly that, but for data and software. It's this massive, shared digital hard drive that businesses can tap into over the internet, which saves them from having to build and maintain all that complex stuff themselves.
And the payoffs, well, they're huge. By using the cloud, companies get to ditch those massive upfront IT costs and switch to a pay-as-you-go model. That move alone boosts their efficiency and saves a ton of money. It frees up their computers, it frees up their budgets, and it frees up their time. The whole operation just gets smarter and leaner.
Next up is big data analytics. Every single day, we create a truly mind-boggling amount of information, and big data is all about making sense of that mountain of info. The key here are what people call the 3 V's. You've got high volume, which just means tons and tons of data. High velocity, meaning it's all coming in super fast. And high variety, meaning it's in all kinds of different formats. Analytics is just the process of sifting through all of that to find the hidden patterns, the little nuggets of gold.
And that is exactly why it's so powerful. When you analyze this data, companies can spot growth opportunities before they even happen. They can fine-tune their marketing to get a way better return. And what's really interesting is that this has created a huge demand for a whole new type of professional. Data scientists and analysts, the people who can turn all this raw information into real strategic action.
So our third workhorse is automation. I want you to think about all the repetitive, manual tasks that just slow down a workday. Things like sending out invoices, entering data, running the same reports over and over. Automation is all about handing that tedious but still necessary work over to machines and software.
Now, this does two really crucial things. One, it dramatically increases productivity, speeding up processes like customer service. But more importantly, it frees people up from that robotic work. It lets them focus on the creative stuff, on problem solving and strategy. And just like with big data, it creates a whole new set of high-skilled IT jobs for the people who build and maintain these new automated systems.
So those three, the cloud, big data, and automation, they're really the foundation. Now let's see what happens when we start building on top of them with even more advanced technology, starting with artificial intelligence, or AI.
At its very core, AI is about making machines that can think. It's the ability of a computer to do tasks that we normally associate with human intelligence. Things like reasoning, understanding context, and probably most important of all, learning from past experiences to get better over time. And the thing is, AI is already woven into our daily lives, and it's often performing tasks way faster and more accurately than a human ever could. It's the magic behind your voice assistant and those streaming recommendations you get. But it's also at work in some incredibly high-stakes fields, like helping doctors diagnose diseases or even assisting in complex criminal investigations.
All right, next up, let's explore two technologies that are literally changing the way we see the world: virtual and augmented reality.
Okay, so what's the difference? It's actually pretty simple. Virtual reality, or VR, is all about full immersion. You put on a headset, and boom, you are transported to a completely different computer-generated world. It replaces your reality. But augmented reality, or AR, is a digital overlay. It takes the real world that's all around you and just adds interactive digital information on top of it. It enhances your reality.
So VR is obviously famous for gaming, but its applications go so much deeper. In healthcare, it's being used to help patients relax during really stressful procedures. And in education, it lets students learn by truly experiencing a subject. I mean, imagine walking through ancient Rome or exploring the human circulatory system from the inside.
VR, on the other hand, has these incredibly practical, everyday uses. You've definitely seen it in mobile games, but it's also used in retail to let you virtually try on clothes or see how a new sofa would look in your living room before you even think about buying it. It can even provide navigation guides in confusing places like airports.
But here's the thing, none of these amazing technologies, not AI, not VR, not the cloud, none of it can work without a really powerful infrastructure underneath it all. So let's look at the two key pillars of the future's digital foundation.
So what kind of power are we talking about here? Well, think in terms of multi-gigabits per second. Now, that number probably doesn't mean a lot on its own, but it signals a monumental leap in wireless speed. And that is the promise of 5G technology.
And look, 5G is so much more than just faster downloads on your phone. The really crucial features are its ultra-low latency, which means basically zero delay, and its absolutely massive network capacity. It's that combination of speed, responsiveness, and capacity that's going to truly transform whole industries. We're talking about making things like remote robotic surgery, fully autonomous cars, and smart cities an actual reality.
And finally, let's talk about blockchain. The simplest way to get your head around it is to think of it as a special kind of digital notebook. It's a ledger of transactions, but instead of being kept in one central place, it's copied and spread out across a whole network of computers.
And the security of the system comes from its process. So when a new transaction happens, it gets broadcast to the entire network for everyone to check. Once it's verified, it's added as a permanent block to the chain. And because every block is linked together and verified by the whole network, it's almost impossible to go back and secretly change a record. This whole system builds trust without needing a central authority like a bank.
Whew, okay, we have covered a lot of ground. So let's just quickly run through everything with a simple little cheat sheet to lock in all these key ideas.
Let's put it all together. You've got the cloud, big data, and automation. Those are the workhorses changing how business gets done. AI gives them intelligence. VR and AR create totally new ways for us to interact with information. And holding it all up are the two pillars of the future: the lightning speed of 5G and the decentralized trust of blockchain.
And that brings us to our final thought. We've gone over all the building blocks of our technological present and our future. So the question I'll leave you with is this: which one of these powerful trends do you think is going to have the most profound impact on the way we all live and work over the next 5 years? It's definitely something to think about.